Hello guys and welcome back to EasyPy 3. In this lesson you'll learn some more tips and tricks when it comes to formatting your code. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing I want to show you is that there are two arithmetic operators that can be used with strings but in a different way. The first one is the plus sign, which can be applied to two or more strings. This is called a concatenation operator, which is just a fancy word for linking things together, as you can see on the screen. But a thing to remember is that you cannot mix a string with an integer. For this to work, it has to be with strings only. Also, this is left-sided binding, which means that whatever's on the right will be joined to the left. The second one is the asterisk sign, which is applied to a string and a number. This is called a replication operator, which basically means it replicates the string by the number you've chosen, as you can see on the right again. Again, for this to work, one has to be a string and the other has to be an integer. Unlike the operator above, this can be used either way to get the same result. As you can see, you can put the number before the string or after the string, it doesn't make a difference. Now we're going to see different ways of using variables in the print function. You already know that you can put a variable inside a print function, and that you can use multiple variables inside print function with a comma. And we can now add to that what we've just learned. You can also use the plus sign to join variables, as you can see in the example here. Another way to implement variables is to use the string format. For example, if I write print and then as an argument I write hello and a curly bracket and 0 and a closing curly bracket, and then I put a space and then I write an open curly bracket and then number 1 and a closing curly bracket, and then I put a closing quote mark, dot format, and then in the brackets I write the variable names that I want to use with a comma in between each variable. Now note, the order I give to the variables will be the same order that I've given to the numbering. And if I want to change the ordering around, I can either change the order of the numbers or the order of the variables in the format. Now, the issue with this method is that it can become really long if you have lots of variables. A faster way of using variables in strings is to use the f string. For example, I can write the same thing, but this time I write print, bracket, and then the letter F, and then the quote mark, and I can write hello, and then a curly bracket, and I can write the variable inside here, close curly brackets. And then I close string, and then I close the print function. And now that gives us the same thing. Now, as you can see, this is a much easier way of implementing variables in strings.
F-strings only work with Python version 3.6 onwards.
On another note, you can add comments to your code. Comments begin with a hash sign. So if you want to write comment, you just write the hash sign and you can start writing your comment. And the reason for having comments is to provide useful information to the reader. So if someone else is looking at your code, they can understand it better. Or if you want to add a note for yourself to remember later on. Or if you want to take out a piece of code for the time being and add it back later. That's because comments are ignored by Python when the code is run. Now, if you need to have multiple lines of comments, you need to make sure you have a hash sign at the start of each line, otherwise it will give you an error. That's it for now. You can go ahead and do the practice quiz to make sure you've understood the concepts.
Remember to check the resources folder.